I do have 6 o'clock. We'll call tonight's, I believe this is May 20th. It's Monday or Tuesday night, of our finance, budget hearings. Tonight's agenda, we'll be looking at 141 schools. If you look in your packet, it is a vertically laid, piece, starts on page 57. You should at your table tonight, I'd asked Miss Amy to provide us with a couple of pieces, and you should see proposed and actual fund balances. We've talked about fund balances quite a few times here lately. And then you should also see at your table a tax revenue based off penny value from 2018 through 2025 proposal. Just to give you an idea over a short amount of time, the amount of dollars that are change wise coming in. It prints a little better picture than a 2-year look back. I might caution you as well on the fund balance side, the 25 is still an estimated fund balance. So I really hope we didn't miss 1.3 million in our budget last year extra that we added to it. Estimates. Revenues low, expenses high. Any questions over those two pieces before we move forward? If not, moving on into schools 141. Always good to reference back on those fund balances each time we're looking. Reminder, we would not look at expenses on the necessarily. We're looking at the revenue side, and costs are here, but we are looking at the revenues generated side as well as the total budget here. You want to take some time just to look through? Is that what you want to do? Any discussions you wish to start with? Commissioner Greg?
One question, just looking back at the March minutes from this committee, it looked like we had I guess started with the the setting the revenues the same as previous year, the 4110 current property tax, which I guess was budgeted for the year at 1,598. What would it be? Obviously, with the increase in the penny value, it's at the same rate. What would that? I guess what would that 1,598 be?
You said 41,110 current property tax?
Yes, sir.
You're asking what would that number be
With the anticipated
we'll ask you on this case, are you asking, is this based off what the
Yes,
county sent as a budget, or is this based off of the penny value that is estimated at the 30?
36,195, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm basically asking where does that penny value make that number? I assume it's gonna make that number fall between 1,598 and 1,703. I'm wondering where that number would be.
Miss Angie, Dr. Satterfield, one of y'all want to look at that? I think we're doing some calculating. If you don't mind, will you step to the mic to speak on that one just for our recordings? I'm sorry, and I'll turn it on for you. And you were saying a number there, the number you're fixing to give us would be on the current,
The current tax rate at 49.14
okay,
pennies at 36,195, that's 1,636,333.
that's not based on the estimate that we sent though. That is based on the current. We send over revenue so they can start their budget. They present us a budget. Forward, I mean. You're good?
On 4210. why is it
4210?
proposed- Yeah,
Okay,
4210 local option sales tax. Why is it less proposed in 25 and 26 than it was in 24 and 25?
you know, I think the question he asked, if everyone hears that part on the local option sales tax, why has that proposed amount less than what the actual was in 23, 24? The other is an estimate that at this point, we have to remember that is an estimate. I think, and I let this one, we haven't finalized our others, but I noticed we had moved our counties from last year's, from 1 million up to 1.3 in the 101. I'd even have a note here sitting beside it. It seems high in the market we're in to me. That are we continuing to purchase at the same rate people have been purchasing?
My point is, I don't see how it can be less next year than it was this year.
People don't buy as many things because they don't have as, would be my thoughts on that one. And I do see what you're saying, but I think as I looked at it, I've got it, my notes in my 101 as well.
That's 200,000.
Could be, it could be 200,000. Reminder that that is based on sales,
Right.
and they've been good for us lately. The economy seems a little different in price right now. Would just be my thoughts on that one. I think it's not, and I even have mine marked for my 101 for our future talks, that we might want to bump that revenue down just a little bit. I hope it comes in as strong as it has, but don't know that we ought to count on sales tax dollars as strong as they have been. I certainly hope I'm wrong in that, but I would hate to be right and we went the other way. I guess on the bottom end of that, I think it's always strong for us to project revenues a little weak. Any further questions there in the first part of this? Hmm. I know as you're looking at this budget, they look a little different than other budgets that we've worked through with the county. That question was already mentioned, so it's a little, may take a little longer to look through and know what you're seeing if you haven't had the chance. Mr. Grigor?
One question for, and I don't know if this is a question for Dr. Satterfield or for Miss Angie, whoever, uh, if I remember correctly, I think when TISA was passed, part of the thing was there was a period where the counties would be held harmless from any increase on site. Have we gotten any indication on when that is gonna expire? Cause I've already read about one county that's having to add more to its school budget because of TISA this year. So I'm wondering where we stand in that regard.
To the mic, if you don't mind.
Mr. Gregory, I understand from your question is that would not go into effect till FY 27, about the time the governor leaves. Ms. Angie and I was talking about this morning, and we were looking at our anticipated maintenance of effort. And I think I can safely say that the county is funding schools at about a tune of about 400,000, and that's an estimate, about $400,000 more than what's required by law, which is what in essence, what I'm saying is that you're well ahead of any maintenance of effort pace.
Mr. Ford?
I was looking at the bottom down here on page 58. We're getting 424,000 dollars less from the state, estimated than we did last year. Or it's proposed.
Can you throw a line item there again?
I just looked at this year's and last year's and took proposed from last year right at the bottom. And we're getting, $424,641 less from the state. And I wondered, why? Look at the very bottom. The total.
On what
rate,
page?
58.
58. Okay.
I think he's at 58 in the 46,000 category on page 58. I think is where Mr. Ford's talking about.
46,000
Yes, sir.
state of Tennessee funds down to the, you're looking at the 11,220,000 was the actual in 23-24. 12 million estimate in 24-25. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, now we're all on the same page here where we are. I think one of those changes you will see is in the other vocational. That's where the large change was at.
Why is that?
That's
why is
line
that-
46,790.
Why is that so less this time for the other vocation?
I think also the Tennessee Investment in Student Achievement is about 200,000. Both those $2, those two line items, 46,510 and 46,790 seem to be the difference of the 400,000 you're discussing there. I don't know why those are budgeted there. Does Miss Angie, you want to offer that, Dr. Satterfield?
It is correct. It is in those two line items. The first one being, and keep in mind that 24-25 column has been revised to reflect what we expect to bring in. So in the 46,510 category, that is our TISA funding, but we received a $500,000 bonus to the school system for grade A schools, 50% or more. So I think that budget amendment is going before the
It's-
commission.
yeah.
So that's where that 500,000 comes in. And the difference in the vocational line is our ISM grant, which is going away. We're spending that down. So that's the balance left over in it. That's the change from the 413 to the 263 in the upcoming school year.
So the $500,000 bonus made a difference. Mr. Ford, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. 500,000 pretty well cleared that up quick. It's this number divided by the. Commissioner Gregory,
Just observation,
what line item, please?
okay, the 4110 current property tax, you know, I, you know, I feel like we probably ought to go, back to where, we went as a starting point on that, the 1598. Um, with regards to the local option sales tax, the 4210, I'm comfortable with leaving it at 1.1. I mean, it is still less than what it's actually bringing in the current year, and even if sales are not as strong, prices are still going up. Things do cost more, which means more sales tax.
Can you bring me back to what you said there on the 110?
The 4110, I would be more comfortable with us going back to it, I guess, where we went as a starting point on that, which I believe was the 1,598,000, whatever the amount, that we.
So are we okay to go back to every budget for this year to the same budget from last year? I don't think things went any less in cost this year.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we're clear that you're saying you want to send everybody back to last year's budget.
No.
Okay,
No, I'm talking about that one line item.
were you proposing to cut the pennies sent to the
No,
school?
no.
That's what that would do.
Okay, then are we talking about going to with the what 1,636 then that Angie said would be the it's at the new Pennyworth?
So you're saying at this current penny value of 49.14 cents times the 36,195, which is what one penny brings in. That value on line item 4110 instead of the 1,703,988, you're proposing it at 1,636,333.
That was the number that we were presented that the penny value would bring in. So yes.
Does anyone want to speak to why there was a question for the 703, which would be an increase in pennies to the school budget to this 1,703,988? You want to speak to that, Dr. Satterfield?
I think the reason that we're here is, what we were looking for is a reoccurring revenue to, increase our coaches supplements. I have a handout on that I can provide to you, now, if you would like. But basically, Angie and I was calculating that again in the office this afternoon and went around and on that. But basically, that's, would require, well, let me pull that out for just a minute. The increase in coaches, supplements would be equate to, with fixed charges, be $64,655. At the current tax rate, that'd be a 1.87 cents. And, I rounded it up to 2 cents is where that $1,703,988 figure came from.
So if I understand you correctly, this budget is asking for 2 pennies from the commission increase
For coaches supplements.
to add to coaching supplements.
And Mr. Gully, that is what we're asking for, is a reoccurring revenue to take care of a reoccurring expenditure. And here, I'll pass this out. And let me also, as you don't know, just to reiterate, these rates were approved by the Travis County Board of Education in its April session. And it brings a unanimous recommendation from the Board of Education.
Dr. Satterfield, are you pretty confident in this 64,655 total?
Yes, sir.
So if we, that comes up to about 1.786 pennies.
Okay.
Would this number, would you be, would the board, and I know you can't speak for the board tonight, whatever we do here less than this, I need to make that clear too, goes back to them and comes back to us at a later date. Let's make sure we all understand that as well. Or if we change this at all, it goes back to them and comes back to us. Okay, make sure, and I just want everybody to be aware. Okay, so there's a process that takes place. I assume they would take that up in their June meeting. We'd see it sometime late June, hopefully for our next discussion. Just be my thoughts. You sure could, Mr. Kerr. Public mic is still on over there.
I'd just like to remind the committee that, you know, the school system has the same issues that every department in Trousdale County has. We lose people every year, just like I'm sure the sheriff's department, probably emergency management people, to the bigger counties around us that pay more. And if we want good people who want to coach and who want to work with our students and their parents and everything, then the board felt like that we needed to raise this supplement, which hasn't been raised in probably 13 years, I think. Am I close to right on that?
That was a question I was going to ask you. When was the last time this was raised?
Do we know exactly? I was thinking 13 years, but I mean, it's been a while. Even if it's 10 years, it's been a good while. And these people put in, you can't imagine how much time they put in if you're not around coaches and programs and things like that. They work hard, and we feel like that we need to recognize them for the time and effort that they put into the school system. And I actually would like to think that you would give us the full 2 cents, because we're covering all the other raises that we're doing in that without coming to the county court for that. And so that would just help on that part. But I just wanted to remind you that these are people that work with our students, work with their parents, put in countless hours in doing so. And I think we should let them know how much we appreciate it. And I appreciate your time, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Atwood, I will let you speak.
At this time, I would like to have the committee acknowledge what we're trying to do. Mr. Kerr laid it out good, that, you know, the school system is absorbing all the raises. We are bringing all of our employees up to $16 an hour. We are dealing with people that go above and beyond to do more in extracurricular activities and absorb a lot of their time. We are way behind on the pay scale of what other counties pay. So at this time, I just want to take a minute, if it's okay with you, Speaker, and let you understand who's in the audience. Is that okay, Speaker?
At this time, not currently. I don't think we're gonna go that route.
Do what?
I don't want to go that route right this second.
Okay.
You're saying you want to go down the list and have them all come to the mic?
No, sir, I would just like to have them stand up and let me explain to you who they are.
If you want to go that route, I'll let you go. We try not to put names and faces with the pieces. Here's what I know. Those people are doing the job they're doing, and I greatly appreciate the job they're doing.
I would just like you to understand who's here.
If you want to go that route, I'll let you.
Would you please stand up?
Shelley Dunham, I'm the middle school girls head basketball coach and assistant on the girls basketball team. Nina Chastity, Nina Spark, high school. Valerie Youngda, high school team coach. Megan Billings, the Tuxedos volleyball coach and assistant. DJ West,
high school assistant football coach. And the middle school program last 7 years. Kyle Gregory, Charles Grant High School football coach. Dylan Euro, assistant high school football coach. Sleeper, high school basketball coach. Dave Johnson, I coach them all.
Okay, Speaker. One thing I can say, I can't speak for the ladies like I can the men. But I can stand here before you and tell you that there's no neater baseball field in the state of Tennessee than what Trowser County has. And I can say Davy Cothran puts everything into Trowser County and has for years. I can say Sleeper works all summer long with his kids to go above and beyond what we could ever ask him for. I can say that Kyle Gregory has gone above and beyond what we could ask him for. He is bringing the Trowser County tradition back. BJ West turned around our middle school program and got it going in the right direction. And I'm not taking anything away from these young ladies. I'm just having to speak for what I know. And I think I can ask Commissioner Gregory, we're way behind on the pay schedule. Is that right or wrong?
I mean, I got a son-in-law that coaches in Sumner County basketball, and I know that theirs is pretty considerably better and more than ours, I think.
And I understand that y'all have to deal with a whole lot. I do. Y'all have to deal with the sheriffs and everything else. But I want you to understand one thing. These people are dealing with the future. The sheriff's department deals with 1% of the county that costs us the most part of the money. We're dealing with almost 100% of the county. And these coaches out here are dealing with probably 70% of the county. And I think we need to fight for our future and not what we've already lost. Thank you, Speaker.
Appreciate the comments. I 100% believe that the individuals represented here tonight are 100% in deservance of the increase, in my opinion. If I were sitting in those seats and not in the position I'm in, I don't feel as if, and I've always done this as chair, I don't make motions as chair for a budget that's before us. I will, if I need to step to the side, make a motion. But I have tried to stay with that movement the entire time, is not to impartially ever look.
I hesitate to make a motion because my husband works for the schools. However,
Your husband has no raise in this. He's not a coach,
he is part of this budget.
not a coach. So
Not
you're
a
okay.
coach, but he is a part of this budget.
Completely understood.
However,
I want to be clear that you're welcome to make this either way you want to make it.
I make a motion to approve this budget as presented.
We have a motion to approve the budget as presented
I second it.
and a second
And
for the
just
budget.
note, my husband is on this board, so it's not nothing to do with that.
Reminder again, the individuals here, and I talked to Commissioner Bubba Gregory prior to this, and I did sort of say that I'll entertain your motion if you wish to make it, but I think it'd be best if you weren't the one to make this motion. I don't mind a bit saying that to everyone here. I don't think it's the right move in those pieces all the time. I know this one thing. I don't think there's a person in this commission that's voting for their family or their people. We're voting for Trowser County's employees. That's what it's voting for. I do have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? That is to approve as written or as proposed. Any discussion further? Commissioner,
I just have
Chris
to say,
Gregory?
I just have to say, totally agree that, have all the respect in the world for the job these coaches do. when we've been going through this budget, line by line, cutting items where, where we can, trying to save money. I just can't, in my mind, justify an additional 2 cents in property tax for coaching supplements, not, this year. Not saying I would ever, not saying I would always be opposed, but this year I just can't, I can't support it.
Understand your view. I might mind you, I think this 2 cents would also probably be about what we gave our volunteer firefighters and our rescue squad last night. We gave them about a penny each or a little more, for their budget last night. And I think the comment last night was clear. This is because this hasn't been raised in over 10 years. I think we heard the same thing here tonight, would be the one comment I would make to that. We have raised a lot of salaries. I think I brought this to the table last year. I know I brought this to the table last year when I look back at my notes. We've raised EMS, we've raised Sheriff's Department, we raised the County 101 at the admin office, all more than 90% in the last 4 years, whereas the school's budget has been raised 0.98%. I brought that to this table last year as well. They don't ask for much from us, is what I'm saying, an increase. I do have a motion and a second to approve the budget as was proposed. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, let it be known by stating aye. Aye. Any opposed? Abstain does count as a no vote without cause. It is favorable. All right. We have, before us, we had the school on the budget for tonight. Miss Amy, are you seeing anything that I missed? Because I haven't missed any little line items anywhere that we could go through if this had went quick. I tried to look myself tonight. I do appreciate those in attendance. If you do choose to leave, I ask that you remain quiet on your way out. We are through with the school's budget at this time. Thank you very much for your attendance. Please do remember, we're still in meeting, so stay a little quiet on your way out. It is hard. I have to remind them of that. I think it might be important, and Miss Amy has mentioned this, we haven't really crunched numbers based on what we've changed. As I mentioned, last night's would cost probably around 2 cents the way I had it figured. And this would cost about 2 cents. Now we have to find those numbers a little bit, so that they can be in the budget. But we know that fortunately, our revenues are pretty hardcorely set. We have 2 major revenue streams, local option sales tax and property tax. That's what we have with us. We know there are some other tough budgets still to look at, and I hope each and every one has the same. I think each and every one has requested the same thing. They're fighting for their people, and I commend everyone that's put a budget before us that's fighting for their people. There are decisions that have to be made. We have put some large numbers in some areas in the last 4 years to try to make those very close to everyone. We could look, if you want to, Ms. Amy stated as well, that the 101 revenues, to start getting an idea on where we are for a few minutes here. Where are dollars coming from? Now, they can be cut in other places, and there's probably some more cuts available throughout the budget. I would say at this point, we've only increased the 2 areas that have not been increased in over 10 years, as we were told, from both. We did. No, wait a minute. We increased the rescue squads. We approved the resolution, but we have not done the rescue squad's budget. Technically, we might could look at rescue squad tonight, but he will be here Thursday night. So we will wait till there. If there's anyone would like to bring up anything that's not going to be here Thursday night, they're welcome to bring it to the table tonight,
The meeting Thursday night is at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Okay, I can possibly be here, but I will definitely be late.
We can handle late.
It will, okay,
We can handle late. We can delay the start.
I think 6:30. Well, I think maybe.
I don't think I can change the time yet, but we can
Right,
delay. We can delay, but maybe not change the time. We don't have enough public notice time to change the time. We are meeting tomorrow night. Tomorrow night has the police sheriff's department on it. Tomorrow night has a sheriff's department. Yes, sir. And Thursday night now would have water, sewer, highway, and the rescue squad and emergency management and ambulance. Ooh-wee. So, is there anything in the one-on-one revenue side anyone would like to look at right now, or anything that we do have the sheriffs coming our way. We know that the budget presented, and I think Miss Amy and I have finally landed the plane a little bit on where this is at. What is presented to us from the sheriff will be without percent increases to slated positions. However, you will already see an increase due to the same thing we've heard in a couple of places, staffing and staffing changes. There have been a few letter grade changes throughout the department through the year, which those people are already on those salaries or pay scales. And there have been some new hires that came in at more experience than others. We've heard that a little bit. Now, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be getting more experienced individuals into our county. Sounds pretty interesting that we can get people that are willing to come that are experienced to our county. I can tell you, we've got some staff in the teaching fields that are looking at coming our way that have been experienced in other counties. That's always a good sign that maybe people want to come work in our county. Is there anything in the 101 that you might want to look at? I did mention earlier, I don't know that we need to change it, but I am concerned about sales tax myself this year. Dollars are being spent less, I think, than they're not going as far. I know the sales tax is still the same on that percent wise. It's still a proportional tax. But when there's less to spend, there might be more crunching on the fluff items sometimes. I do remind us that and I'm sure that estimate will come in a little stronger than it is. It runs one and some change months behind, correct? About 2 months behind. There we go. They're holding that money a little longer. Anything you want to look at?